All right, is Donald Trump cleaning up the streets of America, or are we seeing the initial beginning of a full-fledged police state that has now come to America? Well, we're gonna cover both angles, and we're gonna bring it out today in today's podcast. So let's go.
The following program is brought to you by friends and partners of End Time Headlines.
All right, what's going on, guys? It is Tuesday night, 8 p.m. Eastern. This is End Time Headlines, news and headlines from a prophetic perspective. I'm sure everybody knows and has heard the news by now. If you haven't, we're going to watch this video together. It's going to get you up to par on what our content and what the context of our conversation is going to be tonight. Before we get started on that, you know the drill. Do me a favor, hit that like button. That's going to get eyes on our program. And if you enjoy our content, hit that subscribe button, hit that bell notification. And that's going to keep you up to par here on these social media platforms, YouTube, Rumble, wherever you may be watching this. You guys on Apple and Spotify, we appreciate you guys giving us a good review if you enjoy our content as well. So let me go right into this. I'm going to pull up this video, guys. And again, like I said, this is going to recap you on what in our content and what the context of what we're going to talk about tonight.
Meanwhile, President Trump is vowing to take back the Capitol. That announcement made in a highly anticipated press conference at the White House earlier this morning. The president took to that podium to outline his plan to crack down on crime in his own backyard and says he plans to do that with the help of the National Guard. Listen to him talk about why he decided to put those boots on the ground on the streets of D.C.
I'm announcing a historic action to rescue our nation's capital from crime, bloodshed, bedlam, and squalor, and worse. This is Liberation Day in D.C., and we're going to take our capital back. I'm deploying the National Guard to help reestablish law, order, and public safety in Washington, D.C., and they're going to be allowed to do their job properly. And you people are victims of it, too. You know, you're reporters, and I understand a lot of you tend to be on the liberal side, but you don't want to get mugged and raped and shot and killed. And you all know people and friends of yours that happened. And so you can be anything you want, but you want to have safety in the streets. You want to be able to leave your apartment or your house where you live and feel safe and go into a store to buy a newspaper or buy something. And you don't have that now.
All right, so there you have it, guys. The Trump administration has now officially made the statement that they're going to deploy National Guard into the streets of D.C. But I want to show you this. I want to pull up another article here because this looks like it's not going to just stop there. But look at this. Trump floats deploying National Guard to New York, Chicago, and Los Angeles after the D.C. crackdown. President Donald Trump said his administration is going to look at deploying the U.S. military to other American cities, again, including Chicago, New York, and L.A. This was at a press conference where he announced that he was taking federal control of the police department in Washington, D.C., and deploying 800 National Guard troops to crack down on crime. Speaking from the White House briefing room in an extended and rambling press conference, while flanked by members of his cabinet, Trump declared the move Liberation Day in D.C. again, and he said he was seeking to, quote, rescue our nation's capital from crime, bloodshed, bedlam, and squalor, and worse. Trump then revealed that he's considering a similar move in other cities, including New York, which has in recent years seen violent crime reach lows not seen in decades. Again, I'm sure if you go to a different site, you're going to get a different view or a different perspective on that. It's funny how you go to the left, it's going to be this. You go to the right, it's going to be this. This is why I always encourage you to do your own homework when it comes to these polls and all this stuff. Now, here's where it starts to get, in no uncertain terms, interesting. Okay, I want to read this headline. Pentagon plan would create military reaction force for civil unrest. What is this about? Let's read a little bit about this. The Trump administration is evaluating plans that would establish a, quote, domestic civil disturbance quick reaction force. This composed of hundreds of National Guard troops tasked with rapidly deploying into American cities facing protests or other unrest, according to internal Pentagon documents, again reviewed by the Washington Post. The plan calls for 600 troops to be on standby at all times, so they can deploy in as little as 1 hour. They would be split into two groups of 300 and stationed at military bases in Alabama and Arizona, with purview of regions east and west of the Mississippi River, respectively. Cost projections outlined in documents indicate that such a mission, if the proposal is adopted, could stretch into the hundreds of millions of dollars should military aircraft and air crews also be required to be ready around the clock. And now, as we go on, guys, we're going to get deeper and deeper into the details of what we're seeing emerge in the streets of America. Troop transport via commercial airlines would be less expensive, the documents say. The proposal, which has not been previously reported, represents another potential expansion of President Donald Trump's willingness to employ the armed forces on American soil. It relies on a section of U.S. code that allows the commander-in-chief to circumvent limitations on the military use within the United States. The documents marked pre-decisional are comprehensive and contain extensive discussions about the potential societal implications of establishing such a program. They were compiled by the National Guard officials and bear timestamps as of late July and early August. Now, here's, again, as we talked about the introduction of this podcast, is this an operation to clean up the streets of America, or could this be leading to what some say is a full-fledged police state? Now, I found this article very interesting. I'm gonna show you this real quick. All right, the president's police state. Trump is delivering the authoritarian government his party once warned about. This is an interesting read, and we're going to read some of this. All right. For years, prominent voices on the right argued that Democrats were enacting a police state. They labeled everything a report on homegrown extremism, IRS investigation into nonprofits, a sign of impending authoritarianism. And that's true. They did. I remember that. Measures taken by state governments to combat the spread of the COVID virus, tyranny, and FBI search of Mar-a-Lago, and the weaponization of law enforcement. Now that a president is actually sending federal troops and officers out into the streets of the nation's cities, however, the right is in lockstep behind him. And guys, again, I don't care what side you're on, left or right, this is true. This is absolutely true, and it always exposes, it never fails that you see the double standard, because this was absolutely true for those who, when the Biden administration was in office, and everything that went down with COVID, and everything that went down with Mar-a-Lago, everything that went down with the extremism and the IRS investigations, and even I was saying the same thing, that this is overstretching, that this has gone too far, and this is getting into authoritarianism. But now that the shoe is on the right foot, and just think about this, guys, for a second. If this was the Biden administration doing this, all these people would be screaming this right now. But being it's Trump, then most people don't have a problem with it. That's what this is pointing out, is the double standards of this. Trump announced that he was declaring a crime emergency, temporarily seizing control of Washington, D.C., the Metropolitan Police Department, and deploying the D.C. National Guard to the nation's capital. So I'd love to hear your thoughts in the chat, guys, in the comments. Those are watching the replay of this. Those are watching the live premiere of this in the chat. Do you see this as the beginnings of a police state? Do you have a problem with this? Is there an issue with this? Now, I'm going to refresh your memory a little bit. This is what I find interesting. Y'all remember this story? Palantir lands $10 billion Army software and data contract. Let me refresh your memory a little bit. Palantir has linked a contract with the U.S. Army. Again, it's worth up to $10 billion over the next decade. The agreement provides purchasing flexibility and removes contract-related fees and procurement timelines. Palantir has been a key beneficiary of President Trump's clampdown on cost efficiency using AI. Palantir has linked this contract with the U.S. Army. As part of the deal, Palantir will help the military streamline efficiencies with preparing for threats, consolidating 75 total contracts into the enterprise deal. The release states the agreement creates a comprehensive framework for the Army's future software and data needs. It provides the government with purchasing flexibility and removes contract-related fees and procurement timelines according to a release. The deal further cements the company's role in the U.S. government's clampdown on cost efficiencies by using AI tools in President Donald Trump's administration. Look at that, using AI tools in his administration. Trump's Department of Government Efficiency has cut jobs and programs in effort to curb spending. However, I just find it interesting that Palantir, which is known for their mass surveillance program, has now partnered with the U.S. military. And look at some of these headlines that have come out. This is recent information that is surfaced in light of what we're sharing with you today. And I want you to think about this. Look at this. ICE to purchase AI technology that scans people's eyes from several feet away. Let's read a little bit about this. All right, according to the report, ICE is reportedly purchasing technology, again, that will scan individuals' eyes from several feet away. The agency issued a notice to purchase artificial intelligence technology. That's what Palantir is known for. That can scan people's eyes to, quote, locate and identify those who are in the country illegally. So look at this. The technology allows agents to capture someone's iris from 10 to 15 feet away by using the camera on their iPhone with an app that matches the iris with a photo they already have. The iris is the part of our eye that everybody sees. The color, it has stripes in it. They are unique to an individual. Betty, I believe that's how it is, a computer science professor at Metropolitan State University of Denver. Quote, you can do it from quite a distance away, depending upon the magnification of your device. On a government contract database, there you go, ICE said it is considering two of the company's products, one that can identify offenders based on their iris and another that provides the data on a mobile app. The technology compares the iris scan to other existing photos, like a criminal database photo or even a social media account. Interesting. Quote, facial recognition companies have trolled, essentially have scrapped the internet for photos. Let me read that again. Facial recognition companies have trolled, essentially have scrapped the internet for photos. Ladies and gentlemen, you realize that this is why I'm bewildered at people, what they put on the internet. What they put on social media, what they put on Facebook, what they put on TikTok, what they put on Instagram. And all of this stuff, I believe, if for those that are here during the tribulation, this is going to come back to bite you. This technology is all in the hands of the Antichrist and the beast system that will be put in place. They will use this. I'm telling you, they will use this. Let's go back to the article. Biometric scanning is not new to several states like Colorado, but it is also regulated. The way that we saw facial recognition working was with one to identify and to match right versus profiling. That's two different things. Bacon co-sponsored a law in 2022 that required police agencies to share how they plan to use facial recognition and required it not to be the sole reason for an arrest or an investigation. The Arvada Police Department is one of the agencies that use it. Last year, they used it to identify a person in distress. Quote, we know that AI shows up to help make things easier, but we have to differentiate between when AI is used as a tool to help make things easier. At the federal level, facial recognition is not regulated the same way. That's why the states are, quote, worried about it. It is important to note that ICE has not confirmed its plan to use the technology in the field. A spokesperson for ICE said the agency uses various forms of technology while respecting civil liberties. So again, guys, to recap, it appears that anyway, that there's reports that AI is desiring to purchase this technology that will give them the ability to scan individuals' irises, scan their eyes from several feet away. This is this biometric technology that's already been put in place. And by the way, entire sports stadiums are now they're going to this for ease and convenience. So you don't have to use your phone anymore. They're just scanning your eyes. Now, I'm not sure if y'all saw this story. We did share this on our main website at endtimeheadlines.org, endtimeheadlines.com. It's also on our app. If you have our app, you would have saw this. New York City office blindsides workers by forcing facial recognition scans without warning. This was an interesting story. A garment district clothing company is forcing, look at that, workers to submit to facial recognition scans for building access, outraging staff who ripped the mandate as, quote, invasive and question how their biometric data will be stored and used. Employees at Isaac Morris Ltd., a Midtown apparel company that produces licensed merchandise for brands like Disney and artists like Lady Gaga, got a surprise email last week from their IT department saying the old swipe card entry system was being replaced with facial recognition. There you go. An employee at the company who wished to remain anonymous told the Post. Staff were told someone would soon be coming around to, quote, capture a scan of their faces. This is according to the message that they received. There was no updated policy, no consent form, and no exceptions. Let me read that again. These employees were told there was no updated policies, no consent form, and no exceptions. Just a heads up that the change was coming. The only alternative mentioned, they noted, was entering a numeric code at the door, which most people find, quote, less convenient than a quick scan. Unbelievable. Another employee who requested anonymity said the change felt like a, quote, total invasion of privacy. Quote, we don't even do anything super important. There's literally no reason to be doing this other than to harass the employees. Noting that employees largely work in administrative roles, customer service, and basic operations and don't understand why facial recognition is suddenly necessary. Look at that, guys. Look at that. That is the poster child for what's coming to I'm telling you, this is going to be the normal for every business. It's coming. Again, sports stadiums are already implementing this. They're doing this. Disney's doing this. Now we're seeing places of employment that are telling their employees there's no updated policies. There's no consent forms to fill out. There's no exceptions. Are you ready for this? Let me know what you think about this in the chat. Are you seeing, I'd love to hear from you. Is your company doing this already? Where you work? Are you seeing this? The cameras and software are already installed in the lobby and in testing mode, with the system expected to go live next week. Employees at the company want answers and how long their biometric data will be stored and who can access it and what safeguards will prevent unauthorized use. Could someone use our facial data or entry codes to, quote, gain access on our behalf? Without strict controls, our facial data could be, quote, circulated, repurposed, or manipulated. IML did not respond to requests for comment. The sudden rollout raises red flags for surveillance experts. This isn't just creepy, it might be illegal, according to Albert Foxconn, executive director of the Surveillance Technology Oversight Project, who told the New York Post, New York law already bans compelled fingerprinting of employees' facial recognition as effectively creating a fingerprint of your face. The risks go beyond the office and are part of a broader and largely unregulated rollout of biometric tech in the workplace, according to cybersecurity experts. There you have it, ladies and gentlemen, a broader and largely unregulated rollout of biometric tech in the workplace. So if this isn't coming to your workplace yet, if it's not there already, it's about to be rolled out. Facial scans are immutable. Once compromised, they can't be changed. This is according to the head of global channel and MSP at Checkpoint Software Technologies. If this data is breached, the consequences can extend far beyond the workplace. And guys, you know where this is heading, right? All of this is leading to the beast system of Revelation 13. Even today, this is all in the same thread of what we're talking about today. If there is a police state being created and right in front of our eyes, where do you think that's going to lead to? Now, again, that may not be the case with Donald Trump, but as we said in another podcast, the man has only got 4 years of a term. And Lord willing, he fulfills that whole full 4-year term. God forbid, and I say God forbid, and we pray not, but if that was to be cut short, we don't know who's going to come in and fill his shoes. And as we said, if someone who has more sinister agendas and there's a more nefarious reason and agenda behind them wanting this kind of technology, think about what this could happen in the wrong hands. Now, I want to go back. I'm going to go back here and we'll talk about Palantir. We've talked about them many times. Remember, Palantir is the company, this mass surveillance company that Trump has decided to partner with. The military has partnered with them. I don't know if you guys understand fully what we're dealing with. And this is why we bring out a lot of these videos that we want you to see, because we need you to understand this. Check out this video right here. Listen to this.
I never know what we're allowed to say about these very sensitive contracts, but I'll tell you what it means for the nation. This country is focused on using AI to have a structural advantage in how we deploy and understand the battlefield, deploy our assets and understand the battlefield. And Palantir plays a crucial role in that arena. We're going to continue to play a crucial role in that arena. And by the way, we're making it possible through our software to allow other software and hardware companies to work off of our platform. So this is not just a win for Palantir, though it is, and I'm very proud of it. This is a win, quite frankly, for the tech ecosystem that powers this nation. I never know.
The tech ecosystem that powers our nation. So let me break this down. Let's throw this out there. Palantir's platforms excel at fusing data from multiple sources to create a comprehensive common operating picture. In the event, now listen to this, I'm going to throw a hypothetical scenario out here. If, let's just say, civil unrest begins to break out in DC, New York, Chicago, or any of these cities that Donald Trump is proposing to put National Guard troops in, and with Palantir's help, you have this mass surveillance system put in place. You've got the tools, you've got drones, and you do know that there is some police forces out there in some states that are now, they've gone to full drone use for these activities. All this is in place. In the event of civil unrest, Palantir's platform could help the military monitor and respond to events in real time. How? Well, tools like Gotham. They use tools like Gotham that could aggregate feeds from closed caption television cameras, social media posts, drone footage, cell phone location data, and police reports to map protest locations, crowd sizes, and movements. What do you think? By the way, what do you think that you saw in play on January 6th when that took place at the Capitol? Do you know how many people was not even directly involved in what happened there, but they were in the proximity of where this happened, and they paid the price for that? Their employers were contacted. They found them on social media. It was an entire nightmare. So that was a prelude. And I believe it's going to get far worse. For instance, during urban conflicts abroad, Palantir has been used to process biometric data and satellite imagery for target evaluation in war zones. This could easily translate to tracking hotspots in U.S. cities, identifying routes of march or potential quote-unquote flashpoints. Law enforcement agencies such as the Los Angeles Police Department have used Palantir for Operation Laser programs. Anybody ever heard of this? This is where data and analytics flag individuals or areas for heightened surveillance based on patterns like prior arrest or social connections. In a military context during unrest, or what we would call National Guard deployment. This could extend to monitoring protest leaders or groups via facial recognition and network analysis. Y'all see how we're pulling all this together? All right, Palantir's AI-driven tools, including its AI platform, use machine learning to forecast outcomes based on historical and real-time data. How terrifying is that? Let me say that again. The Palantir's AI-driven platform uses machine learning to forecast outcomes based on historical and real-time data. By analyzing social media sentiment, historical protest data, and economic indicators of discontent, unemployment spikes in certain neighborhoods, etc., Palantir could predict where civil unrest might escalate. This mirrors its use in predictive policing, where algorithms identify chronic offenders or high-risk areas. Though critics argue this perpetrates racial biases by relying on flawed data. Y'all see where you realize this could get real nasty and nefarious real quick. But I'm letting you know what we're looking at. And this current president is partnering with this program. In defense scenarios, Palantir helps evaluate targets and minimize collateral damage in dense urban environments, as noted by former U.S. military leaders. For domestic unrest, this could mean simulating crowd dynamics to deploy non-lethal resources. We're talking about tear gas, barriers, rubber bullets, or identifying agitators through link analysis of communication networks. And then you have Palantir's software that supports human in-the-loop decision-making for intelligence operations, which could be pivotal in managing unrest without full-scale conflict. For example, Gotham can map social connections, such as identifying organizers via mentions on platforms like X or phone records. This has already been applied in counterterrorism to track insurgent networks and can be used to isolate key figures in protests, potentially through arrest or monitoring. In military contracts, Palantir's AI assist in real-time target selection using biometrics is seen as support for operations in Ukraine and other conflict zones. Domestically speaking, this might involve facial recognition from body cams or drones to track individuals inciting violence, though this raises civil liberty concerns. And I want to remind you again that Palantir has contracts with the Department of Defense, including a $10 billion Army deal for data analytics and law enforcement, like ICE for immigration enforcement. And what was the story we just showed you? What is it that ICE wants to get their hands on? Biometric technology that can scan the iris of an individual from feet away. Now, in case you're not catching on to what I'm trying to say here, I don't look at the short term of this, guys. I look way out. I look beyond the current president and the current administration. I look to, again, based on the word of God, we know that it's going to get darker in the days ahead. We know that the times will become more perilous, they'll become more dangerous, and we're not always going to have a quote-unquote conservative president. It's going to, eventually there's going to be a transition. There's going to be different people in leadership and different people in positions. And when that happens, eventually down the road, we have to get to a place where there's the introduction of the beast system. And again, that can be found in reference to Revelation 13, where there is a complete system that is built of tracking every individual on the face of the earth through some type of system that it requires something to be put in the right hand or in the forehead that will require them to do this, to be able to purchase anything, to buy, sell, trade, basically to live life. This will be their access point. So what I'm trying to tell you guys is that we are living in interesting times. These are very intriguing and interesting times. And I would pay close attention to where all this is leading. It's going to be interesting to see what kind of technology is going to be implemented, and it's going to be used in real-time scenario out on what's going to happen when the next civil unrest event takes place, some type of protest, some kind of violent protest that erupts. I think it's going to be a game changer. I think we're going to see things that may shock many people in the very streets of America. You know, things that you see. If you want a preview of what I believe is coming, look what they do in China. When unrest breaks out in China, they quickly snuff that out, and they use very sophisticated procedures, equipment, software, and technology to do that. They have weapons over there that they can fire that will clear them streets immediately. There is things that they do that they won't even allow that information to get out to the public, but they have ways. They have ways because they don't want any uprisings, and they keep that stuff under wraps, and they will use totalitarian measures to do this. Is this what we're going to see in America? Are we going to see the prelude of this? And could this happen under Trump's watch? I don't know. Again, let me know your thoughts. I do know this. Again, the Apostle Paul said that the last days will be noted as perilous times. We will be living in perilous times, and we certainly are. In Luke 21, he says, in the earth there will be distress of nations with perplexity. Listen, endtimeheadlines.org, endtimeheadlines.com. Guys, if you don't have our free app, we would encourage you to pick it up today. If you like content like this and you don't want to miss any podcast, breaking news, prophecy updates, all of our articles, we want to encourage you to download the app today. You can get it on both Apple and Android. When you download it, hit yes to push notifications. You'll be squared away. Again, guys, if you enjoy our content, hit the like button. That's going to help us out. And you can listen, if you'd like to support our ministry and it's a blessing to you, you can do it two different ways. You can give electronically through the app, or you can go through the website, and you can do that at End Time Headlines, P.O. Box 1391, Monroe, Georgia 30655. So guys, we're going to sign off for tonight. Listen, we'll be off tomorrow on the 13th of August. I'll be traveling out of town. As many of you know, I'll be flying down to Orlando, Florida. My wife's birthday is on the 15th of August. We're going down there to celebrate her birthday with our family there in Florida. So we'll be gone until Monday. We plan on coming back for our Monday night broadcast, but we are still recording content. We should have something for you guys on this Thursday night. Maybe Friday night. I don't know for sure. We're going to try to get something out but we'll definitely have something for Thursday night. But Friday night is still up in the air, but we'll let you know when that time gets closer if we're able to do that. If not, we will see you guys back here on right here, same time, same place, same channel on Thursday night on the 14th, and then and perhaps on the 15th on that Friday night. If not, then just plan on seeing us on Monday night for our live 8 p.m. Eastern devotional and prayer. So until we see you guys on the next one, I pray the Lord bless you, may He keep you, and may His countenance shine upon you. We'll see you next time.
Thank you for listening to the End Time Headlines podcast. We pray that you've been blessed and equipped by today's message. For more information about how you can help partner with our ministry, please visit endtimeheadlines.org.